Welcome to Beverly Unitarian Church Online Worship. My name is Julia Jones. I'm the ministerial intern here at Beverly, and I am so glad to welcome you to worship today. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation of children, youth, and adults of many races, many religions, many identities, experiences, and traditions. Here, we celebrate a diversity of beliefs, striving always to make space for more. All of you are sacred. You are welcome here. Whatever your past or present is like, we invite you to walk into the future with us. Like other Unitarian Universalist congregations, we affirm 7 principles, which are not doctrine or dogma, but rather shared values, a moral guide. To learn more about these principles, please visit the website of our denomination at www.uua.org. Our minister here at Beverly is the Reverend David Schwartz, and we would all like to welcome visitors who happen to be here today and hope you'll stay for the virtual coffee hour after the service on Zoom, using the link that'll be shared at the end of the service. We look forward to the day when we'll be able to meet you in person. Although we currently remain distanced physically, we can stay connected. Check out our Facebook page, our website. Contact the office if you'd like to receive our newsletter or our weekly email blast, or if you'd just like to be connected to Reverend David for pastoral care. And now, let us join together in spirit and prepare our hearts and minds for worship.
Today, we welcome you to our Blue Christmas service. It is a service put together especially for those of us right now who are not feeling particularly merry and bright. This is somewhere to come. If despite all the decorations, the cards, the music playing in the shops, the advertisers who want you to believe you can buy happiness, if despite all that you don't really feel very much like celebrating, come here. It's somewhere to be if the idea that a merry little Christmas is all you need for your troubles to be miles away, if that has a hollow ring to it, at least in this moment, you're in the right place and in good company. We hope that you'll find this a safe place to be transparent with yourself, with the spirit of life, with the God of your understanding. We hope this will be a safe place to admit that maybe you're not okay at the moment. Maybe you're not. That maybe what you're really feeling is sad, discouraged, or even angry. We hope this will be a place for you to be real with your struggles, with your questions, with the reality that the holiday season can be difficult enough all by itself, and now here we are, quarantined and separated, seeing family not around a Christmas tree, if that was even an option for you, but through a screen. And all the lines about Christmas parties and caroling together sound ironic or sarcastic or just plain depressing, as we, each of us, remain in our own homes. Those of us feeling a little blue at this time of year can feel edged out, can feel forgotten, as everyone else seems to be caught up, this mad frenzy of celebration and preparation. Even this year, there's the temptation always to perform the holidays, right? To put on a brave, bright face. And this, at least, is a moment to set it down. I hope that as you look around today, as you think about the Christmas message this time of year, you'll find at least comfort and hope in knowing that you're not alone. Today, we'll tell stories and read poetry and sing together. We'll light candles. We'll settle ourselves down and find the quiet hope, the blessing that comes when things are ending and new things are beginning. We gather here today as hurting people, and we bring our sorrow and our confusion to this safe space together. We gather here today equally as healing people, acknowledging our wounds, being patient with ourselves, caring for each other, remembering that the injuries to our heart, to our spirit, just like the injuries to their body, they heal on their own time, which may not be ours. Our work is to be good to ourselves and to each other.
Please join me in our chalice lighting words. May we kindle within us the warmth of compassion, the light of understanding, and the fire of commitment to build a brighter future for all.
Friends, will you join me in the words of our covenant? Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. So I'm here with Pilot to read a story today. There are all sorts of stories that we tell, serious ones and silly ones, And maybe my favorite kind of a story is a serious story that's told in a silly way. And that's what this one is. It's called Someday a Bird Will Poop on You. Have you read this before? This is new? Okay. I got some kind of bad news for you. You ready for this? Pilot, someday a bird will poop on you. Sometime in the long life you have ahead of you, sometime a bird will poop on you. Because there are birds up in the sky, and there are people down below, dogs too. And you are one of those people, or in your case, one of those dogs. I know, it's kind of disturbing. So it just makes sense that someday you might feel something spatter on your shoulder or dribble down your lapel if it's a lapel wearing kind of day, and you'll reach for it and feel that it's bird poo. Yeah. We come to church to hear difficult truths. Sometimes it's hard to hear, but you gotta face reality. That's how it happens. This won't happen on the day that you leave your house thinking, today I'm sure a bird will poop on me, so I'll bring a change of clothes and I'll leave early and I'll bring some bird toilet paper. Not gonna happen that way. Probably every single day, somewhere in the world, someone, person or dog, is getting pooped on by a bird. Maybe even right now, as we're reading this book, it's happening. Someone in China is getting pooped on by a Chinese bird, and someone in Gibraltar is getting pooped on by a Gibraltarian bird, and someone in Maine's actually getting pooped on by a visiting Canadian bird. It just happens. You won't know when, other than it will be at the worst possible time. Like, the day of an important job interview. Or the day you are flaunting an intricate hairdo. Or the day on which you are running late to a ceremony in which you are to receive an award for never being late to anything. So, that's all this whole page says is pilot. On that day, the bird poops on you. On that day the bird poops on you, you have a choice. You have a choice, buddy. You can get really mad and cry and stomp and yell, I don't want this to happen, right? You can let it ruin the rest of your day. This is how you feel inside, right? Or you can remain calm, wash it off, maybe laugh about it too. Good one, bird. And then think to yourself, now chances are I won't have another bird poop on me for a while. And if one does, what a hilarious story that will be. It's no fun, nobody likes it, but you're okay, buddy, you're okay. The end. Look, the truth is, come here, relax. You heard all the difficult news there is to hear, man. The truth is, bad things happen. They just happen. They come into our lives like bird poop on a nice winter's day, and they are unpleasant, and we do not want them. And you're gonna be okay, too. You don't go around pretending that a bird didn't poop on you. You just wash it up. You get bird toilet paper, whatever that is. You clean yourself off, and you keep on going. And you know that it doesn't happen all the time, and it doesn't happen every day. Not by a long shot. This is a season right now of comfort and joy. This is a Christmas season when everything's happy, and it may be that you don't feel happy all the time. It may be that you feel like a bird's pooped on you. And that's okay. And you'll be okay. And it won't happen every day. And it will pass. Thanks for reading with us. Friends, will you pray with me, offering a word of memory and hope with these words by Tom Schumann. All around us are the sights and sounds of Christmas, the laughter of party, the song of carolers, the shouts of children sledding down hills, music in every store, every station. But deep within us, we carry our pain. Our grief walks with us every step we take. Loneliness is the shawl we drape over our shoulders on empty nights. So in this time, when every night stretches into eternity, we come to you bringing our gifts, not gold and frankincense and myrrh, but the grief. That's the empty space in the closet filled with memories. The loss, that's an injury which never heals. The bitterness, 2-day-old coffee. We've come from different backgrounds and different families and different faith traditions to be here together. But we have all lived in the far country of despair. We've all wandered the land of shame. We've built our lives in those neighborhoods peopled by empty dreams. We've stood on the side of every room we've gone into, hoping against hope that someone would ask us to dance. But find the wall is our only friend. In a season when so many people don't have enough hours in the day to get their lists checked off, their cards mailed, their presents wrapped, we have all the time in the world to remember the loss that's stolen the joy from this season, to grieve over a job, a dream, a loved one we've lost. Space appears for us to take all the time we want to sit there. to sit in the shadows of our homes, too weary to turn on the lights, to wander the streets lit by decorations on all the houses. Our fear of the future, our remembrance of the past, our pain difficult to bear, hard to release, our emptiness, not filled by platitudes, all make this a season of long nights, made longer not least because we can't put our hands and arms around our loved ones and see each other face to face. So, Spirit of love, gentle compassion, ease that walks through the world with us, even when we forget it's there. Be with us in our loneliness, in our longing, in our loss, in our lives. Help us to remember what every seed knows come December, that you put your head down to the soil, and when the light returns, you come back too. Amen. Throughout our weeks, we have many experiences, some of joy and some of sorrow, some overwhelming, some lonely, some isolating, some in two full houses. This is the time in the service where we share those joys and concerns of the past week. As a community, we make this commitment to each other that we're not going it alone, but we're trusting our lives, our hopes and our fears, our joys and our sorrows into each other's care. So I invite you, as the music begins, in the chat box to write briefly whatever it is, that joy or sorrow that you carry on your heart today, or to type I, as if you're raising two fingers silently.
I have a hard story to share with you today. This week marks an anniversary of loss for me. 4 years ago, my father died suddenly in his basement. I was at the movie theater with my sister and our respective kids and spouses watching the latest Star Wars release when calls and texts began to come in to both of us from our stepmother. When the text read, "Call ASAP, urgent," I volunteered to step out and call her back. My sister usually does those things. My stepmother, my Judy, said she found Dad on the basement floor and the paramedics had already been there. He didn't make it, she said. I don't remember changing position, but I do remember crouching on the floor in the hallway of the theater and sobbing silently. I was so quiet that I think Judy thought the call had failed. She asked if I was still there. I said yes. And we both paused, completely unsure what we were supposed to do now. I told her I would have to get Lisa, my sister, out of the theater and that we would call her back. And so we did. And then we drove to West Virginia, leaving kids and husbands to finish the film and hear the news after. This was on December 23rd. Before that year, I just didn't like Christmas. I didn't like the hustle bustle of it all. I didn't like the busyness. Musicians and church volunteers are really booked in December. I didn't like the commercialization. My grandmother's hardscrabble farm economics run deep in me sometimes. And my father didn't like Christmas either. I won't get into his reasons, but we were partners in being a little more grinchly and skeptical about all of the ho-ho-hos. And my sister and I have shared the grim joke that Dad's departure may well have been a successful attempt to dodge one more family gift exchange. That year, my holiday was different, as you can imagine. Instead of holding back in discomfort, I was broken open. And while I want to say that like it's a beautiful thing, because as I gain distance, I can see the growth that came from it. It really wasn't beautiful at all. There is nothing that feels beautiful about deciding you will sing in the choir because everything else would feel even more awful, and silently weeping through the carols, wondering if you're making everyone uncomfortable and not being able to do anything about it anyway. The truth is that Christmas created an inability for me to play along and fake Christmas. So I stopped. That Christmas, and the one that followed in particular, I spent time figuring out which parts of the holiday made it feel like a holy day for me. And I did those. Our tree stayed up longer. We gathered even though we were all sad. We cooked together, and I sang as best I could. And I began to see that a big part of the problem with my old way of doing Christmas was me trying to do it the way I thought it ought to be done, something that got ratcheted up when we had kids. My new Christmas is much more flexible. It includes the things that make it feel holy and sacred and joyful. It includes so much glorious food and time with family preparing it. It also includes some sorrow. It just does. And that makes it strangely real. In celebration of the birth of new hope and possibility, I take the care of myself that allows me to honor what has been, what has passed, and all of the heartbreaking impossibility that comes with mourning. Christmas, like most holy days, is complicated. And for me, letting it just be complicated allows me to actually touch its joy and breathe more deeply than the routine of forced jolliness ever allowed. It is hard to be sad at Christmas most years. Maybe one of the few gifts of this year is that in our sorrow, we are not alone. Like my family gathered that first Christmas, we expect some sadness in others. We make allowances and we take the pressure off of ourselves to be any particular way. That authenticity and the grace that comes with it, that's holy. That makes a holy day. May we be blessed and be a blessing in our ability to be present for it. Amen.
Our reading today is by the poet Dan Albergotti called Things to Do in the Belly of the Whale, and it comes in two parts. First, I'll read the poem, and then we'll see an animated adaptation of it with music. Things to Do in the Belly of the Whale by Dan Albergotti. Measure the walls, count the ribs, notch the days. Look up for blue sky through the spout. Make small fires with the broken hulls of fishing boats. Practice smoke signals. Call old friends and listen for echoes of distant voices. Organize your calendar. Dream of the beach. Look each way for the dim glow of light. Work on your reports. Review each of life's 10 million choices. Endure moments of self-loathing. Find the evidence of those before you. Destroy it. Try to be very quiet. Listen for the sound of gears and moving water. Listen for the sound of your heart. Be thankful that you are here, swallowed with all hope, where you can rest and wait. Be nostalgic. Think of all the things you did and could have done. Remember treading water in the center of the still night sea, your toes pointing again and again down into the black depths. part of our work at this time of year in a difficult season, as much as it's a season of joy, is to treat ourselves gently and to hold our own griefs and losses tenderly, neither running from them or pretending that that's not real, pretending that's not part of how we feel, nor at the other end, being consumed by them, sinking underneath them. Our work as people of faith is to hold the fullness and the complexity of life. And so we come to this ritual to name a blue Christmas. I'll light 4 candles, introducing each with a piece of poetry, and invite you after I light each candle to respond together. May they know peace. May we know peace. May I know peace. And then to sing together. We'll sing, I Know This Rose Will Open. The first candle we light to remember those persons we have loved and lost. This is called Watching My Friend Pretend Her Heart Isn't Breaking by Rosemary Watola Trommer. On Earth, just a teaspoon of neutron star would weigh 6 billion tons. 6 billion tons equal the collective weight of every animal on Earth, including the insects times 3. 6 billion tons sounds impossible until I consider how it is to swallow grief. Just a teaspoon, and one may as well have swallowed a neutron star. How dense it is, how it carries inside it the memory of collapse. How difficult it is to move then. How impossible to believe that anything could lift that weight. There are many reasons to treat each other with great tenderness. One is the sheer miracle that we are here together on a planet surrounded by dying stars. One is that we cannot see what anyone else has swallowed. The first candle we light to remember those persons whom we have loved and lost, to remember the griefs that each of us carries inside us, lifting that weight, bringing it with us through each day. We pause now to remember the names of those people we grieve, their voice, their face, the memory that binds them to us in this season. I invite you to say their names aloud. Add them in the chat if you wish, or remember them in the silence of your heart. Into this circle of company and care, we give thanks for their lives living in ours. May they know peace. May we know peace. And may I know peace. I know this rose will open. The second candle we light is to redeem the pain of loss. The poet Patricia McKernan Runkle writes this, called When You Meet Someone in Deep Grief. When you meet someone in deep grief, slip off your shoes and set them by the door. Enter barefoot the darkened chapel, hallowed by loss, hallowed by sorrow, its gray stone walls and floor. You, congregation of one, are here to listen, not to sing. Kneel in the back pew. Make no sound. Let the candles speak. The second candle we light is to redeem the pain of loss, the loss of relationships, the loss of jobs with the security they bring, the loss of health in ourselves, in family members, the loss of joy and peace in our lives from the stress which surrounds us, the loss and loneliness we experience when our loved ones do not honor the purpose and meaning of our lives, do not honor the people that we are. We gather up the pain of the past. We remember it so that we can bring an intention to release it. So I invite you again to name aloud a loss, or in the silence of your heart, or add it into the chat if you wish. And to join me in saying, may they know peace. May we know peace. May I know peace. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. The third candle we light for those who experience a loss of direction or purpose. William Stafford, the poet, writes this called The Way It Is. He says, there's a thread you follow. It goes among things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder about what you're pursuing. You have to explain about the thread, but it's hard for others to see. While you hold it, you can't get lost. When tragedies happen, people get hurt or die, and you suffer and get old. Nothing you do can stop time's unfolding. You don't ever let go of that thread. The third candle we light for those who experience a loss of direction or purpose in their lives. Their sense of connection to something greater than themselves, outside their perception or grasp. The third candle we light remembering all the times that the people we love, the people we care for, have lost the thread and seek it again. May they know peace. May we know peace. May I know peace. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. The fourth candle we light as a sign of hope and abiding love. This called Cutting Loose by William Stafford. Sometimes, the poet writes, sometimes from sorrow for no reason you sing. For no reason, you accept the way of being lost, cutting loose from all else and electing a world where you go where you want to. Arbitrary sound comes, a reminder that a steady center is holding all else. If you listen, that sound will tell you where it is, and you can slide your way past trouble. Certain twisted monsters always bar the path, but that's when you get going best, glad to be lost, learning how real it is to be here on earth again and again. The fourth candle we light as a sign of hope and abiding love, available to us at all times, even when we can't feel it, even in the seasons of dark nights, the sun is shining. We invoke that which is greater than all our understanding, called by many names, Spirit of life and love, God, mystery, sacred source, ever-renewing wellspring, mercy beyond mercy, life itself. And we share a word of prayer and hope aloud for all to take in and make their reality and make our reality. May they know peace. May we know peace. May I know peace. I know this rose will open. Will you sing with me? I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open again. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open.
Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. The flame is extinguished, but not our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share in all the world.
We close with these words from Jan Richardson, called A Blessing When the World is Ending. Look, the world is always ending somewhere. Somewhere the sun has come crashing down. Somewhere it's gone completely dark. Somewhere it has ended with the gun, the knife, the fist. Somewhere it's ended with the slammed door of shattered hope. Somewhere it has ended with the utter quiet that follows the news from the phone, the television, the hospital room. Somewhere it has ended with a tenderness that will break your heart. But listen, this blessing means to be anything but morose. It has not come to cause despair. It is simply here because there is nothing a blessing is better suited for than an ending. Nothing that cries out more for a blessing than when a world is falling apart. This blessing will not fix you, will not mend you, will not give you false comfort. It will not talk to you about one door opening when another closes. It will simply sit beside you among the shards and gently turn your face toward the direction from which the light will come, gathering itself about you as the world begins again. As the world begins again. Amen. And go in peace.